Testing, testing, testing. Testing 1, 2. Sounds good. Sweet, dude. Alright, let's get started. Let's do this, man. Nightcap mLTP Season 31. That's Miners. Episode 2. Let's start it off like we usually start it off. For those unfamiliar, we try to make this a live call-in show to varying degrees of success, depending on the episode. But if you are interested in calling in, give or take about the minor season so far, you can join that Discord invite I just put in the Twitch chat. Once you join that Discord link, you can hop in the Nightcap waiting room voice channel, and I will drag you in once I notice you're in there. But let's start here as we wait kind of for people to join the stream. So obviously I titled this one Where I Was Right, Where I Was Wrong, and I Hate Smally. We'll get to the hating Smally part. We'll get there. A couple of things I really want to talk about I was wrong about. You look back to the first episode we did. I obviously missed horribly on how good my team would be. We are currently tied for last. We are 11th with 21 points. H&R Blots also at 21. We won the head-to-head, so that's why we're in 11th. I did not think we were going to be bad, to be quite frank with you. I gave all the reasons for why I thought we'd be good during that first episode. I really thought Tag Prof on defense would be good enough. Even as a guy who doesn't play offense, I thought just mechanically he'd be able to outskill most offenders. That hasn't happened. I thought Pace would be able to be a really good O-ball for us, and I think he can still be that. I just think the defensive issues have been so pronounced. We've been forced to switch him back to defense, which I thought improved our defense a little. It obviously just puts a lot on GC and Gordon to carry the offense at that point. Yeah, right now it is Pace and Tag Prof, and the idea again was we wanted Pace on O, Tag Prof on D. No, PK, I don't care if they watch it. I mean, they're not. Well, number one, they're not stupid most of the time. I mean, they recognize we're not having a good season, so just talking about the thought process about what's happening. So again, Tag Prof on D hasn't been as locked down as I think either me or him expected. I know he was really confident going into the season that he'd be able to dominate, and again, we haven't really seen that. So as a result, we moved Pace to defense, which I think it helped. But then you're left with GC, who is a rookie. I do like GC a lot still. I think he's got a lot of potential. It's just hard for him and Gordon. It's just hard. Gordon is not a super carry ball in offense either. So it just makes it difficult. GC not quite up to the speed of the Miners game. And then Gordon definitely not the level I think Pace could be if he was playing offense full time, or even Tag Prof if he were on offense. So that made things a little difficult for us. I will say this: we made that switch to put Pace on D. We take out H&R Blots. We win 3 games off them. We had won 2 games against We the People with that lineup. Obviously, last week against Miami was just a huge meltdown. So yeah, right now, really wrong with my preseason take on my team. I'll throw out a couple of others I was wrong about. I thought Drufa's team was not going to be any good. I really thought, like, I knew Drufa could be decent, and Irony has kind of, I mean, Irony's been good before. I don't know, I didn't really buy it. I thought Drufa wasn't going to show up, and that'd be an issue. I like Good a lot. I didn't think Mr. Peanut would be worth anything, to be frank with you. But they've all kind of proved me wrong. Mr. Peanut has looked really good. I know we got beat pretty soundly by them that week 1. I'm a Goat, I think, continues his upwards trajectory. I could see him potentially making a majors jump here. And then Drufa and Irony have just both played really well. And even last week, when I think they were missing, I think they were missing Drufa last week. They're still able to take a couple of games off Weed the People and play him close. So definitely wrong on Drufa's team. I thought they were one of the worst teams coming out of the draft. They obviously have been better than that. Potential dark horse, dare I say it. Surprised to see Nuclear Jude so high. So right now they sit 3rd in the standings. And again, preseason, I didn't really have them pegged to be one of those top 3 teams. I thought the lineup was decent enough to be middle of the pack, so I wasn't terribly far off. Bubbles coming back, I think, was a huge get for them, because the difference between week 1 and then when he came back, I think, was massive. So I think Bubbles does a lot for that team, and maybe I underrated how much Bubbles would. And then obviously, Sale and Logi a better defense than I thought they would be. Seems that Sale's Dallas issues have maybe been overblown a bit. And again, some minor nitpicking. If you want to go back, I didn't think Weed the People was going to be that top tier. That obviously was wrong. I thought they'd be a good team. I didn't think they'd be this good. Obviously, Anti-Re is fantastic. Omni's been fantastic. Really, the whole team, Aster and PK, both played really well too. OPH, kind of the same thing. I know I had doubts about the Clear Rudy defense. I think they put that to bed. Pretty clearly one of the best defenses in the league. I was right about H&R Blots being bad. I really did not think much of them. I thought Yelpa and Jotzi were not a good 3-4. And honestly, Yelpa looked better than I thought he would. And now that they make the changes that they made, I guess we can get into it, by the way, since we're talking changes. So let's just transition to the trade deadline stuff. Couple changes. So of course, let's start with H&R Blots. They drop Yelpa gross inactivity, which was a little squirrely. He's obviously not inactive. So the conversation around that is a little interesting. But so they get Ducky as an out-of-league substitute, who honestly is probably roughly equivalent in skill. So you get a defender for an offender of roughly equivalent skill in my mind, and then they make a move to trade. They got Admania for Chotzi. And when that initially happened, I really liked the move for H&R Blots. I thought Ducky and Russ on defense sounded better to me than Chotzi and Russ, and then I liked the idea of Admania and Stawasa. I believe Admania had been playing defense for Big Red Boat, and I don't think that's his better position. So I really like the initial moves. Yeah, I'm trying not to be too toxic to Chotzi because I dropped him last time I drafted him. You know? I think it was an upgrade. I'll just say that. I think I had Mania over Chotzi, for sure. Yeah, so that all happened. I think slight improvement in the end. I think I had Mania over Chotzi, and then Ducky and Yelp are roughly equivalent. I think the positions work out a little nicer for them. And then, following that move, I started making people offers. basically everyone on my team was up for trades. I offered just about everyone. I did offer everyone. So my main thought process there was find a team where positions are kind of out of whack, kind of like H&R Blots had been, and see if I can trade Pace to a team that will play him on offense, and then maybe I can get an okay defender in return who will maybe help Tag Prof stabilize a little bit, and then we can kind of ride with GC and Gordon on O, let them grow, or maybe throw one of them into a swap and make it a 2-for-2 deal. No one bought on that. I pushed Smally hard. I tried to get Russ really hard. I pushed Goat hard. I tried to get one of Porps or Jur. And unfortunately for me, by pushing both of them, they actually just ended up agreeing to a trade between themselves. So Porps for Russ was the final trade there, which really sucks for me because I was trying to make a move. And honestly, I don't know that it really does much for either team. My big argument while trying to discuss trades with them was you need to, when you're a bottom tier team, or a team that's maybe not even bottom tier, I think Goat's team was just inside the playoff bubble at this time in the standings. Like, if you're not thinking you're contending for a championship, you need to make moves to try to win a championship, whatever it is. So again, I don't know that Porps for Russ really does anything, but they're trying something different, and I like it because I don't think their teams beforehand were gonna beat OPH or beat We the People, or beat Drufa's team. So I like that they're just switching it up and seeing if it sparks something. I think that's obviously what I wanted to do, and I think that made sense for them to do. Who's better, Russ or Porps? I haven't seen Porps play enough recently, to be frank with you. Russ, I like you. I think your non-drop pop issues have been well documented in the Discord, I think. I think you're still... I don't know what the word is. Like, when I play you, like, I think you're decent. I don't feel like you're hard to play against for the most part, though. Trying my hardest to be nice. That's probably true. Russ is a nice guy. And I actually kind of touched on that during the first Nightcap post-draft. Like, was Russ going to be worth that amount of tag coins just because he played defense? And I think the answer has been no so far. We do have a couple people in voice chat here. Let me get Flaccid in. I know he was first on the stream, so... Flaccid, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was listening.
All good,
still.
Dude. What's up?
No, not much. I didn't hear if you asked a question of me at all.
No, I was just curious what you had.
Oh, yeah, well, you had asked me to come on the Nightcap with regards to some comments I made about the out-of-league substitution. So I want to clarify, yeah.
Yeah, dive into it, yeah.
I just don't think that it's like an OP sub, like some people were implying. I could maybe see, like, if the precedent was that the out-of-league sub needs to be a much worse player than the person they're replacing. I think those people maybe have a point, but ultimately I think it doesn't matter because this team is currently at the bottom of the standings. I don't think the out-of-league substitute is going to put them in a place where they're much further ahead of the bottom of the standings than that. Like, I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, regardless, just because of the hole that they're kind of in. So, and my comments about like level of play with regards to like TPM it's just I think sometimes when people do calibration games, they're not done a favor by what the hidden elo is, and they're asked to do more for their team maybe than they're able to do. So in those environments, Ducky was falling short, and that's what I was pointing out. But I think Yalpa would have fallen short in those situations too. So I don't know. I wasn't trying to be a dick to anybody, although I think I probably sound like an asshole to both of those players now, more so than I did.
No, I mean,
Okay.
I think what you said, what you had said in Discord made sense to me too. Like, I don't feel like we're too sensitive sometimes. Like, it's okay
Yeah,
to
a
call
little bit.
Ducky not that great. I mean, history hasn't shown us anything different, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I understand why the CRC did what they did, because the last time Ducky played novice, she had the 100 Danish, so you can't just let that go into the novice league as a free agent. I think people would agree with that generally. So this seems like a pretty no harm way to let people play and not burn out some novice player. And I don't think it'll shake up playoffs at all. So I don't know. It feels like a fine move for me from the CRC. That's my take on it, basically.
Yeah, I think initially I was just kind of surprised by it because, again, like if we think Ducky's Yelpa level, like why not just call up a novice player? And then you do start getting into it's an accelerated week and you got to play 4 game days and that's hard. So that all made sense to me. Yeah. So yeah.
I think a lot of these problems that people are having with the decision and problems with the league in general, so I see people in the chat bringing up Spheroid being a novice and all. A lot of this was done because the signups were so low, and I think that CRC could have handled it better. Maybe minors should have been contracted a little bit, and then you would have had more players that were at that level as first balls in novice, and then it's more equal. And one decision like that doesn't throw it off kilter as much. So then maybe you could have let Ducky in a novice free agency, maybe, or maybe you still don't want to do that. I don't know, but I don't know. I just think it's fine. I think the sub is fine. I don't think Ducky or Yalpa are good enough to where this needs to be a problem. I wish Yalpa the best in his 3-season ban or whatever he's getting for half ghosting or technically ghosting on technicality. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an interesting case.
And I hope Ducky does well. I like playing with Ducky. Every time I play with Ducky, for the most part, has been good. It was tough in those games because I think was just placed above where the proper elo is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say. I haven't been paying enough attention to minors to have any other takes really about any other teams. I will say I think Porps is probably who I would prefer to play with over Russ.
Okay.
Because I think we just have better chemistry. I think Russ is too apprehensive sometimes. He'll do everything he needs to on a contain on a player, and then right when he gets to him, he'll stop and be I think that doesn't trust himself not to swipe, and then that apprehension will let them out or something, and then he just spikes himself all the time. I have no idea why. That's my other take. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, Plus. See you. Alrighty, I'm gonna take the chance to get Yelp on here since his name did come up. See if he can shed some light on the GI drop. Was there an intent to do that and get banned, or I guess we'll find out here in a second. Yelpa, are you with me?
Hello?
How are you?
I am a glass case of emotions wrapped inside a saran wrap of existentialism, encased in a giant rubber ball. How are you?
I guess better than that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. What's the narrative on my GI drop? I don't know what.
I don't know if there's a narrative. I'm personally, I'm just confused. When I see a GI drop, it's for someone who basically has quit the community, or at least is acting like they have. They leave the servers, they leave for 2 months or whatever. It's weird to see you be active in Discord after you were GI dropped. It seems incongruous to me.
Okay, so where do I start with that? So there was no. So the ad drop period has concluded, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone wanted to be dropped and they missed that deadline, what options are really available to them?
That's a fair point. That's a fair question.
And it's a situation where I did not get that message to my captain in time. I have absolutely no desire to play Tag Pro under the current CRC. I have absolutely no desire to play comp this season, or next season, or the season after that. Because the precedent, and Russ, I hope you're listening very carefully right now, the precedent is 2 seasons plus the season that the GI drop occurred in. So rest of season 31, season 32, season 33, which would make me eligible to reappear in season 34 on precedent. That said, season 34 is scheduled to begin after my expiration date in gaming, so this is effectively a retirement.
Can you explain expiration date? What does that mean?
It means I'm gonna be too old for this shit.
Gotcha.
I've got to enter my who said that? Danny Glover? I don't know. We'll just go with that. We're going to enter my Danny Glover era,
I gotcha.
and I'm just going to just start wearing suspenders and kicking my shoes up at the office and complaining about my neighbor's wife and why she kicks over our trash cans every morning. Shit like that.
Can I go back really quickly? You had mentioned being unhappy with the current CRC. Can you expand on what you're unhappy about?
I feel it's not me who needs to whistleblow in this situation.
Okay.
And I'm using the word whistleblow very, very strictly. Last time I blew the whistle on something, Ice Platypus threw a shit fit about me, and a whole bunch of people left the community. But you know what? Not my fight.
Okay.
Not my fight. I just want no part of it.
Okay. I don't know that I really have anything else here. I guess, do you have any thoughts on your team post the drop? What you expect out of them?
Well, it's good that Ducky is getting their opportunity to play this season. I think going back to when there was an NLTP CRCTC OC, the committee to oversight met with the committee to provide oversight for NLTP CRC, and part of that was an open period for applications, and during the application period I ran on the idea that we're here to play, and that if our rule set, we should leverage our rule set to provide opportunities for players who are in good standing with the community to play, and not necessarily overly concern ourselves with manips unless they are of a nature which intentionally deceives some or all of the captains involved in the drafting process. So there was a story there with that, and unfortunately I've got no codes for a screenplay on my desk, so I forgot the story. Short answer is, the whole point is, I miss free agency. I miss seeing players who can't play majors still have that opportunity to play in a competitive season. I miss seeing the upward and downward mobility of minors and novice balls. I miss the days that the teams that were relegated in the English Premier League were not very, very predictable on a yearly basis. And it's good for retention, it's good for the game that people have opportunities to play. So Ducky playing, for me, losing 3 seasons, I'll take that the only day.
I got it. Yelpa, I appreciate you stopping by as always.
Yeah. Eki Ben?
I'm sorry?
Eki, before, meet up at Eki Ben, meet up at the horse you came in on Saloon, maybe? This
Yes,
month?
absolutely.
Alright.
Alright, take care, man.
Whee! I'm free!
I'll touch on it since Yelpa mentioned it. He talked about free agency, the lack thereof nowadays. And again, this has been debated to death, I think, ever since free agency was removed from the mLTP system. And again, I was on the CRC that removed majors and minors free agency. Obviously, at that point, novice and majors and minors were separate entities. So I think novice free agency obviously still exists now, but it existed in a much more open form back then. It was, I still think, and again, I get Yelpa's points about player mobility, and just access to be able to play a competitive season. I get that. I think in the name of parity, I really think getting rid of free agency, or we'll call it external free agency in majors and minors, I think was the right decision then, and I think it remains the right decision. And I can understand how that trickles down to novice with their statistical restrictions. I understand not wanting to ruin a rookie's experience by letting in an experienced free agent, whether that be... I think they... Honestly, I don't recall if they limit minors drops or not right now. So whether that be a minors drop or a external free agent, I get all that. And again, I understand Yelpa's train of thought 100%. And then I guess that you almost get into the discussion then of, are we playing competitively for fun, or are we playing competitively for not fun, but like focused on the competitiveness aspect of it. And I think depending on which side of the fence you're on that is probably how you land on free agency too. All right. Let's talk about some things I was right about, since we haven't really done that yet. I thought Way of Pains wasn't going to be very good. I'm confirmed in that. I honestly forget who's even on the roster. It's Budden's team, isn't it? It is. Yeah, so I didn't think Joe Hobo was going to be very good. They called up Spear in exchange for Swag. I don't know how much of it's more of a lateral move, I guess. Budden and Jing go back, so they played on Nuclear Jutes together a couple seasons ago. Had a decent run in the playoffs together. At just their third, fourth balls didn't do it for me at the time of draft, and I think they're continuing to not do it for them right now. So currently 1 point out of a playoff spot. I'd have to check their schedule. My guess is that's going to where they end up out of playoffs, or just maybe just sneak inside the bubble. So they play Big Red Boat. They play LBT. They play H&R Blots. So honestly, it's a favorable schedule. So they could sneak in there. I think if we're being honest, my team, H&R Blots, just by virtue of points, we're probably out of the playoffs. It's a 7-point gap. We sit at 21 points apiece. Boosting Balakuda's currently at 28, sitting in 8th. There's only 3 game days left, so that's total of... I guess that's 15 points a week available. So you can make up that gap, but it's hard. We do have Squeeb in the waiting room here. Why don't we just talk Miami, since we did get bodied by them last week. I'll give my quick thoughts on the team before bringing Squeeb in. Going into the draft, I wanted 360 no swag, based off 2 tryouts I saw them play in. Thought they looked really good, farming returns, all of that. And that's exactly what happened when they played us last week. I consistently think Jarvis is like underrated. I think just because his Tates are so unlikable. I think he's always been a solid player, especially in minors. I think he's pretty good. The one unknown, or I guess two unknowns for me, Scrapper, I wasn't quite sure about. Coming up from novice. Pretty good statistically in novice, but again, you're never really sure how that translates to minors. And then Squeeb, I'll be honest, I thought was washed and has been washed for seasons, but he's looked pretty good on offense, so it's worked out for him. So on that note, we'll bring in Squeeb to talk Miami. What's up, Squeeb?
Hey, not much.
What's going on, dude?
Oh, not a whole lot.
Talk to me about your team.
Yeah, so I was listening to what you said just now. Obviously, I missed the last few seconds because of delay. But yeah, so I guess for me this season, we had the draft. Jarvis had actually reached out to me before the season, which I was very surprised about. I think similar to you, he was like, I've been washed for seasons now. And so, yeah, he reached out, and I was like, okay, weird, whatever. I actually thought it was him trying to get me to give away some, like, sleepers or something like that, right?
Sure.
And so I was like, no, I'm not giving you anything. Draft me if you want to hear my thoughts.
Right.
So he drafted me, and I was like, oh, wow, okay. Obviously, he had Scrapper already. Very unknown to me. I had no idea about Scrapper. And even No Swag was... I was good with No Swag. He had asked me to sign off on it. I signed off on No Swag. Obviously, had no idea, though. He's been gone since, like, what, season 5?
It has been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like 8 years ago at this point. So, very, very unknown there for that. It's worked out. I actually had to tell Jarvis after, like, week 1 or 2 that it felt like I was teaching a B team. Like, there were certain things that I said where I was like, this feels like it should be very obvious.
Yep.
Like, we literally, especially with No Swag, love him, but yeah, there's certain things where I was like, okay, you can tell he's been gone for a while. Because, like, he was getting, like, for instance, like, I think it was, like, week 1 scrims, he kept sitting, on re when they had anti, and every time I had the flag, I would die, and then a few seconds later, he's spawning, and I'm like, guys, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, they keep killing me when I'm on a read. And I'm like, you can get off the flag tile, right, when they're doing that? And he was like, oh, shit, you're right.
Yeah, that's funny.
And yeah, I mean, Scrapper's had some stuff. But the nice thing is, every time I say something, they don't do it again. And so you can tell that it's clicking.
Yeah, and that's the key, I think. So, and maybe No Swag, kind of a bad example. Like, for every time you get a novice player that goes up to minors or minors to majors, I think that's the defining difference. Is once they realize that whatever they had been doing previously doesn't work, do they stop doing it, and are they able to adjust? And that's what kind of that's what makes the difference between a successful novice to minors player and not, or in this case, an old ball who's coming back from God knows when. Yeah. So interesting to hear that for both of them, it's working out.
Yeah, and I know for me and Jarvis, biggest thing I keep telling Jarvis every week, it's like, dude, you just gotta talk more. And he is starting to talk, but I mean currently I'm still like doing most of the comms, and so that's why I think someone put in the comments there, if Miami offense blocked each other more, they'd be even better. That is one of the biggest things. Two of us, we're just out meching these defenses.
Mm-hmm.
This upcoming week is going to be a very good sign on if that'll work or not.
Who do you guys play this week?
Not We the People. No, it is We the People. Which one is Anti's team?
That is We the People, yeah.
Then yeah, We the People, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a good test for you guys.
Yeah. But, yeah, because no, it's... I try to block for Jarvis, but it's just... I don't know. It just feels like we're not in sync, which is, fine with how well it's going.
Yeah, and that's a weird thing. Like when I play offense with someone, there is that sort of like innate chemistry you either have or don't have.
Yeah.
And like when I played with Neb in minors in like season 19, we didn't have it. Like I felt like playing offense with them was horrible, but we still managed to be, you know, probably statistically the second or third best offense in the league. So it's I mean, it's not necessary, but I think you're right. It's weird. There's this, I don't know. There is this like innate chemistry a pair can have or not have.
Yeah, no, and it's just, I think for me the weirdest part is it is Jarvis, which again with all the basically every season he was like Squee's not good, and, then, and I'm like, the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
So.
Well, so give me your prediction then. You do take on Weed the People this Monday. What do you think you come out with?
I don't think we win the week. I think it'll be close. Let me see. What was their roster again? PK, Anti,
Omni, and Aster.
Yeah, that's the issue. I really just don't know about. I don't know Omni and Aster. PK is a minors player. When he's the third or fourth ball, if he's your second ball, you're in trouble. Obviously, Anti's good first ball. I just have no idea about Omni or Aster. I've never seen them before. So.
Okay. Well,
that's why I'm kind of like, they're doing well. I think we'll get beat a couple times.
Sure.
Especially on one of the maps. I know which one in my head it's going to be. I'm not going to say it. But...
can I guess Willow?
Which one's the small? Like the smaller of the two?
That's Willow.
It is Willow.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that'll do us in.
Okay. Very cool. Any playoff predictions for you guys? Where do you think you end up in the standings, and what's the I guess what's your ceiling? Do you think your ceiling is Mooper right now?
Currently, no.
Okay.
If we keep going the way we have been, you can tell we've been picking up steam over the weeks. I can definitely see it. Like I said, just I'm totally okay getting whipped by Weed the People this week, because it'll give us stuff to look at, and that's really, like I said, that's the biggest thing the two on defense have been doing, is that every time we get beat on something, they pick up on it after if it gets said.
Sure.
So I am kind of hoping they actually do pull out the stops and let us see something. So, or we beat them, even better. But yeah, I won't be mad if we get beat this week. After that, though, I think I will start getting happy if we get beat, because we have.
You got Big Red Boat, which I don't think is an issue for you guys.
That's what I'm saying. If we start getting beat in the next 2 weeks, I will be very unhappy. So.
Yep. Okay. Well, anything else you want to touch on, Squeak?
No, that should be it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you calling in.
All right. Thanks.
See you, man. Bye. Yeah. So I would agree with Squeak there. I would agree. I don't think, right as it currently stands, Miami is a Mooper team. I think obviously this week is going to tell us a lot, right? If they go toe to toe with Weed the People, I think that's a good sign. And then they play Drew's team to close out the season. That's going to be another big test for them. If they come out of those 2 weeks looking good, I'll be more inclined to think they can make a run. To me, it is still right now. It's OPH and Weed the People, 1-2 in the standings, and I think clearly favorites to advance to the Mooper. Like I said, maybe Drew's team has some potential to make some noise as a dark horse. There's really, I don't know. It feels like those teams are in a class of their own right now. Yeah, Flaccid already said that in chat. I would, yeah, I'm definitely in agreement with you. I guess we can talk what we think final playoffs are going to look like, or who's in, who's out, sort of thing. I think, like I said, I think just the points as they stand prevent us and H&R Blots from getting in. The run would have to be kind of insane to get in from 7 points down. I think Big Red Boat misses, and then you're kind of looking at a group of 4 here. LBT, Everything Bagel, Balakudas, Way of Pains, all sitting at 27 or 28 points. And I mean, again, I'm not really looking at schedule here. I think out of those 4, Out of those 4, I think probably LBT would be my pick to fall out. We'll see if the spear pickup for Way of Pains changes anything for them. LBT, I think, just doesn't have... I don't know. I don't have faith in them. So, I mean... So that'd leave you OPH, Weed the People, Nuclear Jutes, Droofer's Team, Dolphins, Everything Bagel, Ball Kudos, and Way of Pins as your top 8. Somewhat in that order. I guess we could talk about trade deadline, post-trade deadline, like awards predictions if we wanted. Although really it's just gonna be people from OPH and Weed the People, right? Your MVP at this point, I'd probably say it's probably Anti-Re, isn't it? OBOS, you give that to Selfie. DBOS, you probably go. I guess you give that to Rudy at this point. Couple interesting picks for rookies of the season. I think you go Peanut DROS. I thought Casley would be the one competing for that. I know they missed a week, so maybe the statistics aren't quite there. But I've been really impressed with Peanut. Offensive rookie of the season. I'd have to think about that some more. It might end up being Spear by the end of this. Bull did DM me and say he wanted to talk about the Ball of Fame call-up. Assuming he plays offense, could be another contender for offensive rookie. Is Sell a defensive rookie of the season? Oh, Ball of Fame is defense? Okay. Wait, so who plays offense for you? You just traded for Russ. Oh, you moved Thor to offense. Okay. I gotcha. I think he's better on O, so I think that works out for you. Alright, let me look at Cell's stats. 6th in returns, 9th in prevent. It's not horrible. Candidate? But you're not a rookie though, is the only problem. I thought you were saying DBOS. Yeah. So I guess those would be my award predictions at this point in the season. Again, MVP, Anti-Re, Rudy taking home defensive ball. Selfie takes home offensive ball. You give defensive rookie of the season to Peanut. And then offensive rookie, probably Magikarp, right? Yeah, I think Magikarp actually probably has that on lock. So those would be your major award winners. I think at this point in the season. Willing to hear discussion on others. And then I don't have a ton more to talk about, to be frank with you. So let's talk about big games coming up. On Monday we talked about it. I think Miami and Weed the People probably the game to watch. We'll be curious. So we also get to see Drew Flood's team versus Boosting Ball Kudos. So curious to see how Russ looks on his new team. And then, like Goat said, Ball of Fame is a defensive call-up. So see how those two mesh. And I like Jur and Thor. I like that offense a lot, actually. So depending on Ball of Fame, that has some good potential. So those two games probably the highlights of week 5. Moving forward, we play OPH on Thursday. That'll be interesting. Oh God. Yeah, not really anything interesting we'd say. It's just a lot of like lower seeded teams jockeying for position. So LBT Way of Pains is gonna be a pivotal playoff race matchup. Same with H&R Blots and Boosting Ball Kudas. And then going into week 7 again, Way of Pains versus H&R Blots. Dolphins versus Strufa, we talked about with Squeeb. I think will be an interesting one. So, a couple good games here and there. Russ is not on O. Russ is not on O. That is not true, is it? That cannot be right. You're telling no. No. Russ on O? Wait, so who plays defense? I'm so confused. So it's Thor and Ball of Fame on defense? That seems like a lot of faith in Ball of Fame to me, no? That's crazy. That's crazy to me. You trade Porps away to put Russ on the offense? Yeah. Bold says Ball of Fame is good. I guess I'll buy it, but I don't know, dude. That seems a little risky to me. I'm totally willing to eat crow if this works out, but I don't know, dude. That's a lot of faith. I think Thor's fine on defense, but I mean, just fine, you know? So you're really asking Ball of Fame to be that guy. Juror and Ball of Fame D makes more sense to me. I agree, Juror's just fine on defense. Yeah, this is fascinating. Well, I guess so now add Boosting Ball Kudos to all of the games to watch for the next couple of weeks. That the lineup tinkering is definitely going to be interesting. Juror will never play D again. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see how this works out for you guys now. Alright. I'm gonna give it another minute or two. I've kind of run down. Just a reminder, you can join that Discord link if you want to call in and chat about something. We'll give you another minute or two. I think we kind of covered the gamut here, though. Touched on all the trades, drops, ads, etc., etc. We really didn't talk about Sphere being picked up or Ball of Fame being picked up. We've talked about Ball of Fame a little bit now. Haven't really touched on Spear. To me, it's a change of fourth balls, and we'll see if they pay off or not. Obviously, sounds like we think Ball of Fame is better than that. Again, remains to be seen. Same thing with Spear. Touched on Shotzi Mania, Ducky, Rust for Porps. Oh, Bold is in? Okay. Alright, Bold, sell me on it.
Hey, look, alright? Y'all are sleeping on the best team in the league.
Talk to me.
We got Ball of Fame is goated. He is gonna destroy the league. No one even understands what he's capable of. People saying that we overvalued him or something. Nah, we just have the greatest scouts in the world, man. He's gonna destroy. And then you got Russ on O. Has anyone seen him play O? Nope. You haven't seen him play O, but that's the point. right? You can't say he's bad because you've never seen him play O, and we know he's good. And Jared's goated on O. He's like the greatest offense player in the league, man. Get him like 20 caps every week. Thor, the best defender I've seen in my life. Have you seen his ability to get returns? He's grief seeds out there.
True.
Give him a boost. He's soloing everybody.
True.
So y'all gotta stop sleeping. Y'all gonna see that the team boosting Barracudas, we're gonna destroy. We're going from, what are we even at now? 8th? We're going from 8th to 1st, and you're gonna watch us win that Mooper Ball. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Bold. A more just pure hype. A more hype man you cannot find. I'm curious to see how that works out now, dude. I'm still a little skeptical, but hard not to believe Bold. What is he, like a 3-time super winner? You gotta give him a little bit of credit, right? Okay. I think this is we have Admania in the waiting room. Let's get him in here and see what he's got to say. What's up, Admania? How are you?
Yo, how are you doing?
Not too bad, man. What you got?
Well, I've just been grinding tag or TPM, but a lot. It's very interesting because I got traded like twice, and
What do you think? What do you think about the team you're on now?
I really like. I don't know, like I haven't seen Porps play that often, so I've heard good things about Porps, of course, which I've heard that them and Russ are very similar, but I heard some things about Ducky, and she's on the grind, so I am very confident that she'll unrust.
Can you explain something to me? So before you got traded, when you were playing for, was that MC's team?
Yeah.
Were you playing defense for them?
So I was playing defense for, I think, like 2 weeks. Okay. And then I think the last week before I got traded, I played offense, and then I got traded. So.
Well, so I'm curious. I always kind of picture you playing offense. So do you feel that's your better position?
Oh, of course. I definitely think offense is by far my better position. I can kind of play defense, but I'm still kind of lacking on defense, especially if I'm like having ping issues. I cannot play defense. So
sure. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention it's like a mixed bag for me on defense. I'm very inconsistent.
I got you. Have you got into a scrim with H&R Bots yet?
No, I haven't. So I think our scrims are on Sundays, so
gotcha.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious. So I played with Wasa, gosh, I don't even know how long ago that was, but I played with him and really enjoyed it. So I'm looking forward to see how you two mesh. I think it'll actually work out really well.
Yeah, I think you were mentioning like about novice balls like conforming their play style, and I realized I'm like, oh, I have to change my play style like pretty often so that I can mesh with my offender well, because I was playing with Crossover and he plays very, very differently, so I thought that was going good. So
sure.
But it's funny because I think we were starting to click and then we got traded, so I don't know.
Well, so for what MC had mentioned to me, because I was talking to him about maybe making trades before he traded you away. I guess what he wanted to do was he wanted to play offense, so he's trying to get an actual, I guess, more of a natural defender, which is why it was you for Chotzi. Yeah. So that was the thought process, and I think MC and Crossover as an offense is going to be pretty good, to be honest with you. So I guess I understand the idea, you know.
Isn't MC better on offense?
That seems to be what he thinks. I honestly, I've always thought he played pretty well on defense, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I haven't seen him play offense in a while, but I definitely do think he's better on defense.
Yes, so that'll be interesting. I don't think Chotzi and Como are a great defense, to be frank with you. So you may have ended up on the better team at the end of the day, which would be fortunate.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm very excited to see. I've just been grinding like crazy. I literally grinded pubs just to get my mix again because I had defense brain. So
yeah.
Nice. So I'm like just remembering how to hit boosts and stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, I think honestly, one of the two teams are probably going to make playoffs. I believe ours could, but I don't really. I have a lot of faith, but I don't know because we haven't scrimmed. So
sure. Yeah, well, I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys play on Monday. You've got LBT, which I think is that's a very winnable matchup for you guys. So yeah, looking forward to seeing it.
All right, well, thank you for the Nightcap. Love the content.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, man.
Have a good one.
You too. See you. Bye. Yeah, I would agree. Unfortunately, it's much better than our schedule to close out the season. So again, we talked about they have LBT week 5, so and then they play Boosting Ball Kudas, who again Bold's hyping them up. Maybe it's not an easy matchup, but again, currently they're 8th right now. So just on the surface, you think it's winnable. And then they close out the season with Way of Pain, who again is kind of on that playoff bubble. It's about as favorable of a schedule as you can get. So again, I think 7 points is too much to overcome, but we shall see. Okay, I am gonna end the stream here. To all of you that tuned in, I appreciate all of you that called in. I extra appreciate it. Probably look to do one of these, maybe post first round of the playoffs. Uncertain. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But again, as always, appreciate it, and we will see you next time. GGs.